Hello everybody, this is Max, and this video tutorial is going to be all about Tablepress and what you can use it for. Sometimes when we're on our WordPress websites, we have some issues as far as spacing goes. Like here's my client Jeremy Penn, one of the greatest artists in New York City. You'll have areas that you want to designate just for that, and it's kind of hard to do sometimes in WordPress when you're adding a post and page. You're trying to float things left, float things right. Well, Tablepress is the thing to use that'll give you those tables. But this is a more advanced tutorial for people that want to play around with CSS and styling that table. So it's necessary for me to make sure that you understand a little bit about tables and how they work. What I have here is a code editor, and it's not important that you know code, but it's going to be important that you know a little bit about the CSS code. So if we type in table just like this and we put that in tag, that will create a table within our page. And if we go over here, let me hit F12, there's a table in there, but it's not given a width or a height or anything. So what we got to do is go within this tag and type in width, and let's make it 200 pixels, and let's give it, let's not give it a height, but let's give it a background color. We'll give it a background color like this and call it red. Okay, and let's go ahead and save that and refresh, and you see that we have the table width, but there is no height. Now if we put a height on that, we'll be able to see it. Okay, height, let's put 50. These numbers go by pixels whenever you do that, and you see that we have our table there. Now I know what you're thinking to yourself, oh Max, I don't want to be able to do all this, I just want to put a table on my website. That's what Tablepress is going to do for you, but it's important that you understand how the code structure works, because if you want to edit the CSS and the colors, this is not how you would do it, even though I put that in there for you to play around with the background. So we're going to take this out, and instead of putting the color in right that, we're going to put a class in. Okay, and this is how the Tablepress works, and we're going to give this class a name, and we're going to call it we'll call it the table. Now we could call it whatever we want. Okay, now if we hit save here, we'll notice that it just disappears. We have nothing in there. Okay, but we're going to go up here and we're going to create a little style sheet. Okay, and in this style sheet we're going to hit class. We're going to select that class. Now how you select a class is you put a period, then the class name. Oops, that wouldn't be the class name, would it? The class name would be the table. Okay, just like that, and then you put your curly braces in, and then we'll type in background color just like that, and we'll put red back in there and watch what it does over here in our browser. We see that we got it back. So there's two different ways to target the table for colors, and the one that you're going to be using in Tablepress is style. Now you say to me, well, that's just one little block. That is correct. You've answered correct. So what we want to do is we want to be able to make one more blocks. And in the tutorial online, I showed you how this works. The first thing that you want to do is go up here. Let's just put in a border for all of our tables, and we'll make that 1 pixel. We'll go ahead and put some cell spacing in there, and we'll make that 1 pixel as well. And then maybe some cell padding, and we'll make that 2 pixels. Okay, now I'm going to refresh this page so you can see what it looks like. And I don't know if you could see, but if you look real close, there's a little black line. You can see stuff, you can see an outline of it. The next thing that we're going to do is go down within this table, and then the next thing that we're going to start off with is we're going to start off with the table row, and that's TR, just like that. Okay, and then within the table row we need a column, so we're going to put TD for table column. And don't ask me why it says that, I don't know. But now I'm always kind of like a stickler for good code structure, and I want to know how I want to be able to find things quickly and efficiently, so I'm going to put it like that. Now, this will give us one table and one row, so it's not changing much, but you can see now that we have the inside of the table. Now all we'd have to do, or inside that row rather, all we have to do is if we want another column and another row, okay, what we want to do is we want to put in another row, which would be TR, okay, just like that, and then within TR we would put the TD for another table row, okay, and let me do my thing here. Hope it doesn't irritate you too much, but this is going to keep things separate for me so I know where the table rows and the table columns are. Now if we hit refresh, you'll see that we have 2 rows now. So I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Max, you forgot the columns. Well, no, I didn't forget the columns. Remember, the columns are the TD, and I'm going to put these TDs side by side, just like this here. Okay, now I want a column in this row, that would be in the first row, and I want a column in this row, which would be the second row, and that will give us a box with 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces. Okay, so these are the rows, okay, and these are the columns. Now you can manipulate boxes around. We're going to experiment with that a little bit, but now you notice the background of this whole box, this whole table, is red. Now let's say that we wanted to make this first cell, let's say that we wanted to put a blue box in there. Well, we know that if we type in here test, we'll just put test, and we refresh, we see that that's test. Okay, let's take that out of there. But what we would do is we would give this a name, a class, just like before, and then we'll call this first box, just like that. Now it's not important that you remember all this stuff, but this is in particular what I need you to remember whenever we go over to the Tablepress. Okay, we're giving this a name of first box, and we're going to do background color, and we're going to just pick blue, just like that. Okay, and then we're going to hit save. Now if we refresh over here, we see that we get that blue box in there. Okay, so that's how I'm targeting it with my style sheet, with these classes. Okay, and that's what's important. Now if I wanted to target the next one, I would just give this a class here. If I wanted to target the table row, I would give this one here. So remember, these are columns, the TDs are columns, and these are rows. Okay, so with that in mind, we're going to shoot on over to Tablepress, and you could come back here, you could see how these classes are named, and then we hit it with the style sheet. Now I'm within HTML here, so I started with style and I ended with style, so I can put my style commands in here. But there's another way to bring it in, the way Tablepress uses. All the commands would still be the same, but you don't have to start with style or use the closing style tag. Okay, so let's move on over there. Okay, there's a couple other things that I want to make sure that you're getting before we go on over to Tablepress here. You notice that this first box, we're targeting this first box in the class, but if we take this, we could take this class, copy it, and we come down here to the fourth box. This row 25 would be this last box here. But if we give it the same class as the first box, we know that we're targeting via CSS like this. So if I hit save on that and I hit refresh on this page, we can see that, you know, we could target that box for that. So we could target a bunch of boxes, you know, with CSS, and that's how Tablepress works. So this would be that first box, this would be the second box, but they're in the first row, and this would be the third column, and or this would be the third box and the fourth box because they're in the second row. Okay, this is the first column, this is the second column, first column, second column. Alright, so now that you get that right in your head, we could probably move on over to the Tablepress. And let me bring it in here right now. So here's the Tablepress. I put it on my local server, and for the benefit of you folks, I'm going to go ahead and add a table here and say this is the table name, like this. Okay. table. This is the table description. Okay, and just to keep things simple, maybe I'll just make it 3 rows and 3 columns. I'll click Add to Table. And then we get in here. And what we see here is we have our table ID of 3. Here's the short code. We have our information that we entered. And now if we go down to here to this first box, okay, we could just start typing any old text, or we could use this box here to insert a link if we want, and then we could insert a link, or we can insert an image just by clicking that button. There's always a couple of little things that you have to do there. I'll put a thumbnail, a couple more clicks, and you'll notice that it puts the code in for you. Okay, now the one that you'll probably use the most is this advanced editor. So let's go to box B and hit advanced editor, just like that. And you notice here we can add media right from our thing, right from our WordPress dashboard. It'll insert the code in there, and then we could start typing whatever we want, below that, and click OK, and it formulates it for you and everything like that. Now, if we had content in every one of these, we could show or hide that from our viewers on the front end, or we could also duplicate rows, insert rows, delete rows. But the folks that are interested in this tutorial are interested in styling these different blocks. Okay, I just went ahead and I put this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, 4, 5, 1 through 9. And if we go to the site and the post that I made for it, again, the way that you put this in a post is through a short code, and there's a little icon right here, and then you could just click, insert short code, and it'll insert it for you. And so whenever that you're viewing the post, you have this is 1, this is 2, this is 3. Okay, so let's go over some of these features, maybe so you understand them a little bit better. Whenever we scroll down here, here's some table manipulation. Let's say that we didn't want this third row to show on the front end. We just tick that little box and hit hide. And if we go to the front end and hit refresh, oh, hold on. Everything you do, you got to go down here and click Save Changes, okay? Just like that. And then we refresh the front end, we see that the third row now is hid, okay? So that's what that does there. So, and you'll see that it's highlighted in red, and then when you're ready to undo it, just click Show and hit Save Changes. All right, so here's our you can experiment around with these other things here. But here's, if you're going to treat this like a header and a footer, you can do that. And notice at the bottom in the JavaScript library, that has to do with that. So, but we're not going to view this as a table row or header. We just want to be header or footer. We just want to be able to style it. Now here we can show the name and the description. If we do that, I'll hit Save Changes. This is the reason why I put the name in the description, so I could show you this. You notice this is the table name, this is the table description underneath of it. So you can utilize those features as well. And you notice that now it doesn't have that blue line as for the header in the front here. What it does have, though, is these little hover effects. I don't know if you could see it, that whenever we're hovering over these different rows, it'll highlight that. And then you can see that right here, highlight a row when the mouse cursor is over it. If you don't like that, you can untick that. We'll leave that on. And then you can disable these. Okay, so I'm going to click Save Changes. And hit refresh. Okay, so now let's get right into styling this table. Now on your website, you're probably going to have several different tables. So they give you the option right down here in this little block, add extra CSS class. We could put something like I'll just put new table to keep it interesting. Okay, so we'll put new table. I'll click Save Changes. Now, everything that we target, we'll be able to target new table, and you're going to find out what that means here in a minute. So let me go back and refresh. And I want to let you know that I'm using the Google Chrome browser here so that I can target in on these selectors. So I'll get information that I need to make these the colors that I want. Okay, so I'm going to right click, inspect element. Now down here, this is what I'm talking about. Now you notice we're in the new table, okay? And there's odd rows and there's even rows, okay, because we have that set up in the back end. Now what I need to do in order to make maybe the odd rows, okay, maybe I'll make the odd rows a certain color, column 1. Let me target that. So what I would do is I would go back to the style sheet, and so I have my new table. I put the background color as red, but now I need to target the odd, okay, and then I need to target the class column -1, just like that, okay? So I'm targeting all 3 of these. If it matches all 3 of these, I want the background color to be red, and I'm going to click Update File, just like that, okay? And then I'm going to go back, and I'm going to refresh, and you can see that column 1 and on the first elements, now their background color is red. Now you see I got that hover effect, okay? Now if we want to take that hover effect off, all we have to do is go back to our Tablepress here, and let's see, let me go ahead, go to all tables, edit this, scroll down here, and let's see, highlight the row while mouse is on hover, okay. And then if we didn't want the background colors to alternate, we could tick that, but we're going to leave it on for now so I could show you a couple of things. And we'll go back here, I'll refresh the page, and now whenever we hover over, it's not going to blink. Okay, now let's say that we wanted to target the even ones. Well, how would we do that? Well, one of the things that we could do is right click, inspect element, so we make sure that we're targeting the right ones. Okay, so now here's the even, that would be the even row. So maybe even row column 2, maybe we just want to make this here blue right in the middle. So what we would do is we would go back to our style sheet once again. I like to copy and paste, so I'm going to copy this entire command, and then I'm going to come down here and click paste. Now I'm just going to change this from odd to even, and then I want it to target column 2, just like that. And then the background I want it to be blue, okay, just like that there. Click Update File. I'll go back here to my page, I'll refresh, and you'll see that I get that blue section there. Now you may ask, hey Max, how can I just want to make the top row a certain color, and that's what I want to do. Okay, so in order to make the top row a certain color, I would recommend that you first of all you take off the alternate, so it's not alternating colors back and forth. So what we do is we go back to the alternating rows and hit Save Changes, just like that, and let's see what it does to the front end of the site. You notice that it totally disappears now because it's not alternating, so the alternating commands are gone. Now something else that I wanted to show you, when you take out the alternating commands, okay, they're not targeting, the style sheet for the alternate or even or odd numbers. What you can do is when you come back to the new table, you can target this the entire color of the table. And let's go ahead and make it pink so I can show you what I'm talking about. Click Update File, and you'll see that the entire table now is pink, so you can target the entire table. So let's leave that all pink, and let's say that we want this top row. Let's just say that we want this top row to be one color. Maybe we want it to be blue. And so we'll inspect the element, and notice here class row 1. That's what we want to do. We want to target that row 1 class because it has all 3 columns in it, right? So we're going to go back here, and we're going to have new table again. We're going to make a new command here under new table, and then put row 1, and then we'll do something background color blue, like that, okay? And then we'll hit update the file. So don't forget the periods for the classes, otherwise you'll have a hell of a time wondering what's going on. So you can see here that's how we could target these different classes. Okay, so you have the steps. First you give the table a name, then you target in and use your browser to target in on these rows. Usually they're all the same, either column 1, column 2, column 3, or row 1, row 2, row 3. So you'll be able to do those types of things with this script, and that's how you get your different colors in there. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, or you need an online tutorial, you can go to my website here, A1 Website Pro, hit on tutorials and hit live online tutorials and book a session with me. I can walk you through this a little bit more if you're having trouble with it. Hopefully I've been able to communicate a lot of things that you'll be able to do. The other thing that I would recommend before you go start hacking around in your style sheet is that you come here, you copy the entire style sheet, and then just like put it on a notepad or something like that, so then you always have a backup. If you ever screw up, you can just highlight this whole thing, copy it, and put it back in your style sheet in your website. So that's the first thing I would do, and then I'd feel a little bit more comfortable with playing that. The other thing is install the custom CSS plugin. You could do that as well. If you have any other questions or comments or anything, please engage me on my website under this post. I'd love to answer your questions or anything. If you just had something quick, you'll see it. It's going to be posted here shortly, and I'll have a link in this video that goes back to the Tablepress, for editing and so on. Okay, this is Max with A1 Website Pro. Thanks for listening. I hope I was able to help somebody.